Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good evening. Welcome to Primetime Asia. Tonight we'll provide you with some of Asia Pacific's latest updates in the political arena, which includes discussions on Tehran's nuclear program in Geneva, Switzerland, the Turkish parliamentary votes against corruption trial, and Japan marking their 20th anniversary of a deadly Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake in Kobe. Meanwhile, in India, 24 children have been selected to receive the National Bravery Awards this year. And in Brisbane, Australia, a man is accused of giving medical-grade cannabis to his daughter who was suffering from cancer. Here's Dayanku Susilawati Pingran Haji Muhammad Sabri with the reports.
With Russian and American delegations.
Political directors of Iran and the P5+1 states have wrapped up their talks on Tehran's nuclear program in Geneva, Switzerland, as the two sides are making intensive efforts to narrow the differences and ink a comprehensive deal. Following 5 days of closed-door negotiations in Geneva, Tehran and the 6 states, namely Russia, China, France, Britain, the US and Germany, agreed to resume their discussions on Iran's nuclear energy program next month. According to the Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Mr. Javad Zarif, next round of negotiations between Iran and the 5+1 will be held in Davos and Munich. He also said that his discussions with his American counterpart John Kerry had been open and frank, and they discussed details that focus on complicated issues. Saying that the overall pattern negotiations are already quite established, he stressed Iran's right for nuclear enrichment and sustaining its nuclear program, as well as the need for removal of sanctions against Iran once an agreement was reached. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister for Legal and International Affairs, Mr. Abbas Araghchi, described the Geneva discussions as good and extensive. He said they viewed all subjects on the table and had very serious and business-like negotiations. The senior nuclear negotiator further said Tehran and its negotiating partners are still working to bridge the gap between the two sides. U.S. academics and former senior officials met North Korea's chief nuclear negotiator in Singapore to get a feel for each other's positions amid a years-long standoff over the North nuclear weapons build-up. The U.S. and North Korea have no formal diplomatic ties, but former U.S. officials occasionally meet the North's diplomat in a bid to settle the impasse over Pyongyang's pursuit of a long-range nuclear-armed missile that could hit the U.S. mainland. North Korea's team is led by Ri Yong-ho, the chief negotiator for six-party denuclearization talk. North Korea has indicated willingness to rejoin the long-stalled talk, but has balked at United States demands it first take concrete steps to show it remains committed to the denuclearization goal. Leon Segel, director of the Northeast Asia Cooperative Security Project at the Social Science Research Council, a U.S.-based non-profit organization, said that the meeting would cover the North nuclear missile program.
I mean, what we're talking about is the obvious important issues, the nuclear and missile programs in the North, and their sense of where they are. I mean, it's a way of taking each other's temperature.
The Turkish parliament voted not to send to trial 4 former ministers accused of wrongdoing in a corruption investigation, in a boost to President Tayyip Erdogan, who cast the graft scandal as a plot to undermine his rule. The outcome was expected as the ruling AK party has a large majority in parliament, and it closes one of the last avenues in the investigation after earlier court cases were already dropped. Meanwhile, local media reported that a secret ballot was held separately for former Urbanization Minister Erdogan Bayraktar, former EU Minister Agman Bagus, former Interior Minister Muammer Gula, and former Economy Minister Zafir Kaglayan at Turkey's Grand National Assembly in Ankara. Parliament had voted no for each minister to be sent to Supreme Court. Out of 500 total members, 515 participated in the secret ballot to decide whether Bayraktar should stand trial at the Constitutional Court. Local media said 219 voted in favor and 288 voted against sending the former minister to court. Bagus received 245 votes in favor and 255 against. Gula received 241 votes in favour and 251 votes against. In the vote for Caglayan, out of the 517 deputies participated, 242 voted in favour and 264 voted against. The probe led to the resignation of the Ministers of the Economy, the Interior and Urbanisation, while European Union Affairs Minister Agman Begis lost his post in a subsequent reshuffle. All four have denied any wrongdoing. People in Western Japan are marking the 20th anniversary of a deadly natural disaster. They're gathering around the city of Kobe to remember the victims of the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake 20 years ago. Local communities are holding ceremonies to remember the more than 6,400 victims of the Great Hanshin earthquake. Survivors and victims' families lit 6,434 bamboo lanterns at a park in Kobe, one for each fatality. Lanterns were formed to read 1 to 17. The numbers represent the date the earthquake struck in 1995. People offered silent prayers for the victims at 5:46 in the morning, the exact time of the quake. "24 children, including 8 girls, have been selected for National Bravery Awards for 2014. 4 of the awards have been given posthumously. 16-year-old Risham Fatma from Uttar Pradesh, a victim of acid attack, will be conferred the Bharat Award for showing exemplary courage while fighting off her tormentor, whose marriage proposal she had turned down. In all, 24 children will be conferred with National Bravery Awards this year. Among the awardees, 8 are girls. 4 children have been posthumously awarded for their supreme sacrifice in their battle for saving others. The prestigious Jita Chopra Award has been conferred on 13-year-old Gunjan Sharma of Assam, who displayed exemplary valor in saving her friend from the clutches of the abductor. The Sanjay Chopra Award has been given to 16-year-old Master Divash Kumar from Uttar Pradesh, who displayed outstanding courage while confronting 2 chain snatchers. The National Bravery Awards are given as a token of recognition to those children who distinguish themselves by performing outstanding deeds of bravery and meritorious service, and to inspire other children to emulate their examples. The children received their award from Prime Minister Narendra Modi and will also participate in the Republic Day Parade. Meanwhile, Australian media reported that an Australian man accused of giving medical-grade cannabis to his 2-year-old daughter suffering from cancer has had his bail conditions changed so that he can visit her in hospital. The man, who cannot be named for legal reasons, was arrested on 2nd January and was initially banned from seeing his daughter. He is facing charges of possessing dangerous drugs and supplying drugs to a minor after giving medical cannabis oil to his daughter, who is suffering from stage 4 neuroblastoma. Since his arrest, the father has amassed thousands of through social media, some of whom were outside the court to show their support. The case was adjourned until February 23rd.
The flu vaccine is being used in Hong Kong, which can offer protection to the public despite a vaccine mismatch that results in lower protection, is also featured in this week's Primetime Asia. The Macau police plans new crowd control measures for tourist spots, and an all-female taxi service has been launched in New Delhi following a spate of sexual assaults against women in India. We also have more interesting stories coming from Korea and China. And we end this week's edition of Primetime Asia with an interesting news item from Japan. Stay tuned for more reports.
Held Health Chief Ko Wing-man insists the flu vaccine being used in Hong Kong can offer protection to the public. That is despite a vaccine mismatch that results in lower protection. H3N2 is the most prevalent strain in the current flu season in Hong Kong. The same applies to other countries such as the United States and Canada. But countries and regions in the Northern Hemisphere had purchased vaccines as suggested by the World Health Organizations, which wrongly predicted the most prevalent strain. Doctors say a mismatch in flu vaccines could cause the protection rate to drop sharply. Ko Wing-man had acknowledged the lower protection rate, but he still urges people to take the jabs. He said the current vaccine provides cross-strain protection against influenza infections and protects from a particular type of virus. He added that the government will be using the current vaccine until new ones become available. He urged members of the public to be vigilant, such as washing one's hand frequently. Despite this, a number of doctors still insist that vaccination is the best preventive measure against the flu. They advise people, especially those with a weaker immune system, including young children and the elderly, to go and get the necessary shots. The Public Security Police in Macau are planning new crowd control measures in overcrowded landmarks for the Chinese New Year. The authorities say that if the crowd exceeds the venue's capacity, stricter controls may be imposed, like shutting off street. Many visitors travel to Macau during the Chinese New Year holidays, and Macau landmarks usually get overcrowded. An issue that worries authorities. As to tackle the problem, they are planning to launch two different strategies. A group sections and single ways will be implemented at St. Paul's Ruins and Senado Square, measures aiming to prevent tragedies like the Shanghai Stampede. A three-tier measure will be implemented in Senado Square. The first tier to deploy officers to divert the crowd. The second to launch a single way that only allows pedestrians to walk to one specific direction. And the third tier down the Senado Square area to reopen it only after crowds are smoothly diverted. An all-female service has been launched in India's capital, New Delhi, following a spate of sexual assaults against women in the country. Cabs for Women by Women, run by Saka Consulting Wings, is staffed entirely by women and serve only female clientele. Meanwhile, Meenu Vadira, the director of Saka Consulting Wings, said the service helps women gain independence and take controls of their lives. The service also aims to make women feel more secure on public transport. India has seen a number of high-profile rape cases involving women on public transportation in recent times, including the recent alleged rape of a passenger in an Uber taxi. Shiv Kumar Yadav has been charged with rape, kidnapping and criminal intimidation. He has been in custody since a 25-year-old woman filed a police complaint alleging he assaulted her after she hired him for a ride home last December. In Korea, the restaurant industry has been experiencing huge changes. The popularity of family restaurants has declined. By contrast, Korean buffets are growing popular. This is a Korean cuisine buffet in Gyeonggi province. With the tables full, many customers wait in line to be seated. But the number of visitors shows no signs of dropping. A Korean buffet in Seoul is likewise packed with diners. Reservations for lunch are full until next month. The concept of the restaurant is to offer healthy Korean meals made with leafy vegetables and fresh ingredients. It is popular among family diners and elderly people in particular. Attracted by the unexpected explosive popularity, large corporations are also making inroads into the Korean buffet market. In contrast, many Western-style family restaurants have reduced their stores or even withdrawn from Korea altogether. A diner's interest in health and thrifty spending have brought Korean food buffets to the forefront of the ever-transforming restaurant industry. Beijing's determination to host the 2022 Winter Games was immediately apparent to first-day attendees of the Longxingxia Ice Lantern Festival, where Olympic spirit shined through a vast array of ice sculptures. Although this year's festival will include 350 ice lanterns, 300 festival lanterns and 300 winter sculptures, the most dramatic change over previous events is the wide array of Olympic theme art. Many of the 29 sculptures contributing to the event, despite hailing from cities all across China, are cheering for Beijing's bid to host the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. Many visitors also expressed their hopes of hosting the 2022 Winter Olympic Games. Besides the Olympic art, ice lanterns featuring history, cartoons and ancient architecture also caught the attention of visitors. The 29th edition of the festival will last through the end of February.
可以说，如果大家来到冰雪大世界这个项目，大家一定不要错过。
Hundreds of ski enthusiasts gathered at a local ski resort in Zhangjiakou city of North China's Hebei province to mark World Snow Day. This year's World Snow Day, which introduced the concept of the International Children's Skiing Festival for the first time, attracted many skiing and snowboarding lovers, including some 50 children under the age of 14, to the Yunding Snow Resort. Ski fans celebrated the day with competitions and cable car rides at the resort, which boasts an altitude of more than 2,100 meters. Beijing, along with Zhangjiakou, which is located approximately 200 kilometers northwest of the capital, is vying to host the 2022 Winter Olympics and Paralympics, according to the Chinese Olympic Committee (COC). If the two cities win the bid, Beijing will stage the ice events while snow-based competitions will take place in Zhangjiakou, the COC said. The Yunding Ski Resort will serve as the venue for the free skiing and freestyle snowboarding event. Beijing has submitted its 2022 Winter Olympic Games bid to the International Olympic Committee (IOC), and the two cities have upgraded their facilities. According to staff, the ski resort is expected to receive some 300,000 visitors during the skiing season if Zhangjiakou is selected as the host city, more than double the number of last year. World Snow Day, an annual event created by the International Ski Federation (FIS) in 2007, focuses on promoting snow sports to the world's youth. This year, the day was marked simultaneously by 23 countries and regions, including China, Canada, France, Italy, and the United States. 100 humanoid robots have performed a synchronized dance routine in Tokyo. The 100 Robi project was the brainchild of Tomotaka Takahashi of Tokyo University. Each of the 100 Robi robots weighs just 1 kilogram and stands 35 centimeters tall, with each Robi robot costs around $1,500. During the performance, the synchronized dance lasted 3 minutes and went off without a hitch. The project, so uniquely challenging, Takahashi said, was designing a robot that could be produced in large numbers at a low cost.
And that concludes this week's edition of Primetime. Till we meet again with more interesting news next week. To watch more on our Primetime Asia portal video, you can visit our website at www.rtbnews.rtb.gov.bn. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and wishing you all a pleasant week ahead and good night.